ومن أحسن قولا ممن دعا إلى الله وعمل صالحا وقال إنني من المسلمين.
سمعت معاوية خطيبا يقول: سمعت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول: من يرد الله به خيرا يفقهه في الدين.
اطلب العلم أخي فهو درب به نور، به ترقى به تحيا عالما حرا فخور. اطلب العلم أخي فهو درب به نور، به ترقى به تحيا عالما حرا فخور. اطلب العلم أخي فهو درب به نور، به ترقى به تحيا عالما حرا فخور. سل إماما عاش في العلم دهورا ودهور، يطلب العلم ببذل حتى ضمته البحور. سل إماما عاش في العلم دهورا ودهور، يطلب العلم ببذل حتى ضمته البحور. صابرا في العلم صبرا حتى سموه صبور، يخرج العلم بفأل مثل ريحان الزهور. صابرا في العلم صبرا حتى سموه صبور، يخرج العلم بفأل مثل ريحان الزهور. اطلب العلم أخي فهو درب به نور، به ترقى به تحيا عالما حرا فخور. اطلب العلم أخي فهو درب به نور، به ترقى به تحيا عالما حرا فخور. كن إذا سموك اسما لتكن مثل الحضور، كن رفيقا كن عظيما كن كما تلك صقور.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والليل إذا يغشى والنهار إذا تجلى وما خلق الذكر والأنثى إن سعيكم لشتى.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه، ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. إنه من يهده الله فلا مضل له، ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله تعالى، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. أما بعد, brothers and sisters in Islam, it is a great pleasure to be here today to share with you whatever knowledge I got, and the topic which we are inshallah going to elaborate upon is the Muslim's creed, or the Muslim's belief, or in Arabic, Aqeedah al-Muslim, what a Muslim should believe. And as you know, the Muslim creed or the Muslim's belief consists of many points. So it is impossible to cover the Muslim creed in 1-2 days crash course. I'm telling you in advance. But the intention, and Allah knows our intention, inshallah, and may Allah Azza wa Jal bless the efforts and accept our deeds and your deeds, that will carry on if He wants us to carry on. Amen. So, I'm sure you got part 1 with it. And you can see some points highlighted that we want to shed light on that. Aqeedah, which is the main points. Because before we delve into the topic, brothers and sisters, let us have a quick glance at the situation of the Muslim Ummah. Everyone knows the situation of the Muslim Ummah. Why are we Muslims in such miserable status? Why are we in such miserable condition? Allah Azza wa Jal promised. And He says the truth. وَلِلَّهِ الْعِزَّةِ وَلِرَسُولِهِ وَلِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Might, strength belongs exclusively to Allah and to the mu'mineen, the true believers. He also said, وَكَانَ حَقًّا عَلَيْنَا نَصْرُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Verily, it is incumbent upon us, Allah talks about Himself, that will grant the victory and the triumph to the believers. He says, وَلَا تَهِنُوا وَلَا تَحْزَنُوا وَأَنْتُمُ الْأَعْلَوْنَ إِن كُنْتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. وَلَا تَهِنُوا. Do not feel weak. Do not grieve. You are going to have the upper hand if you are mu'mineen. See the conditions. Allah is putting conditions. All the promises of Allah are conditional. Conditional. If the condition is fulfilled, then you will get what Allah promised. For example, you know the F conditions. Alright? Okay. Now, if you say to your son or daughter, who he is in his high school or she is in her high school, if you pass the exam, the final exam, with flying colors, with distinction, I'll buy you a car. So how many conditions did you stipulate? So Allah Azza wa Jal in many places, He promised, but He put conditions. And that's the problem of our problem as Muslims. The Iman. What happened in history? The first confrontation between the true believers and the rejectors and the arrogant, the rejectors of truth. The first confrontation that happened, and it was not planned from the human perspective, but it is planned divinely. Because Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you know that they were driven out of Makkah by the mushriks. Their wealth were confiscated, were taken, they were humiliated, they were tortured. So he heard there is a caravan of Quraysh passing by the outskirts of Medina. So he decided to take that caravan as a compensation or just to regain some of the property that they lost. That was the idea. But what happened? The head of the caravan, Abu Sufyan, because the Muslims, they arrived at the wells of Badr before the mushriks. So when Abu Sufyan arrived at the wells, what he saw the waste of the horses and camels, and it was wet. So he took one piece of dung, you know the dung, took the dung and he crushed it in his hand. And he found inside it a seed. So he said to his people, oh, seed. That means date. That means Muslims. See cause and effect? How he arrived and deduced, that means the Muslims are here. That means this is an ambush for us. Let us escape. And he managed to save the caravan, and Quraysh came to fight the Muslims. And the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ found himself in a position that he was not ready for it. Am I clear? Are you following me? Are you following me, sisters? So he found himself now in a position that he's not ready for it. But what to do? This is something Allah planned. And what Allah plans is going to pass. And what Allah decrees is going to pass. So there was no other choice, or no, there was no other alternative except what? To turn to Him. And we have no other choice today except to turn to Him. And he cried and cried. The narrations tell us that he was crying and weeping and saying, إن تهلك هذه العصابة لن تعقل بعد اليوم. If this group, lovely bunch of the companions die, wiped out, you will never be worshipped. Why? You will never be worshipped. Because that's it. All the Muslims are there. This handfuls, all the Muslims on the globe. So if they are wiped out, Allah will not be worshipped. So the Prophet ﷺ was crying to Allah, if this hand of people of the Sahaba is wiped out, you will never be worshipped. And he was crying so much so that Abu Bakr as-Siddiq anhu came and held the Prophet ﷺ from behind and said, stop, O Prophet of Allah, stop. Allah will never desert you. And indeed, he didn't desert his Prophet. Neither his Prophet nor the believers. And he sent down angels. The angels came down fighting with the believers. Angels. The soldiers of Allah. These soldiers, no one knows them except Allah. وَلِلَّهِ جُنُودُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. To Allah belongs all the soldiers in heavens and earth. And Allah's soldiers are so many. Recently, only one of them Allah used, the Sinai. That's one of the soldiers of Allah. That's one of the soldiers of Allah. So the angels came down fighting with the believers. Why the angels came down? Because they were true believers. And he said, وَكَانَ حَقًّا عَلَيْنَا. It was incumbent, I made it a must upon myself. نَصْرُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. So Iman is everything, brothers and sisters. May Allah strengthen our Iman. Having said this, brothers and sisters, status of Aqeedah in Islam. Because you need to have Aqeedah. Aqeedah is the belief itself. Every human being should have a belief. He believes in something. You cannot get up or move few steps without having a belief. For instance, if I don't believe that the water will quench my thirst, I will not drink it, will I? But when I felt thirsty, I took the glass of water and I had a few sips, right? So I believe that the water will quench my thirst. If I don't believe that this medicine will reduce and bring down my temperature and fever, I will not have it. So even the atheists, when they say we don't believe, we say you are liars, you believe. No human being can live without a belief. Irrespective whether that belief is right or wrong, that's another issue. But you have a belief. You have Aqeedah. You have Aqeedah. So what is the Aqeedah? Or what is the creed? Every human being has to have the belief. And this Aqeedah, it is naturally Arabic word, but I'll just explain it to you like this. The root of it, you see? See what I'm going to do? By doing this, you will never forget it, inshallah. Huh? What I'm doing? Uqda. What is this? Uqda, knot. So when I tie something, I am making a knot. Uqda. What is the verb? Aqada. 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 What is the noun? The verb noun? Aqada. I am tying. Aqada. Yaqidu. Aqeedah. Aqada. Yaqidu. Aqeedah. He's tying when you tie. So Aqeedah is something tied up. Something tied up well in the heart. Something should be fixed firmly in the heart. And you can see now, if the knot is very loose, it will untie easily, right? True or not? Yes. But if it is very tight, it's difficult to untie it. And you follow me? So if you have a strong Aqeedah, a strong belief, that nothing can shake it. So how? So that is basically the meaning of Aqeedah. So it is set of beliefs that a Muslim or the believer will have in his heart, and these set of beliefs are proven, and they should not be discussed again. We don't discuss the issues of Aqeedah and again. Finish. Once and that's it. Right? You Muslim, every Muslim ask him, you believe in the angels? Yes. Because he believes. And it has been proven. Through the Quran and the Sunnah. Because he has accepted Prophet Muhammad as the messenger of Allah. And based on that, whatever the Prophet ﷺ says, he accepts. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, when the Prophet ﷺ came from the journey of Isra and Mi'raj, and he was telling the mushriks that he went to Jerusalem, he was not present. Only Abu Jahl was there, and he passed by Abu Bakr and said, did you hear what your friend is saying? Was telling us? He said, no. He said that he went last night to Jerusalem and came back. He said, did he say so? He said, yes. He said the truth. Finished. Which is very logical, because he tells me within seconds that Jibreel told him something and they believe it. So if he tells me that overnight he went and came, it's very easy for me to accept. So this Aqeedah, which is a set of beliefs that are tied in one's heart, and they should not be discussed again. We discuss them only once. And then that's it. Then we put them into practice. Now, where did we get our Aqeedah, our belief? The sources of our belief as Muslims. The source of our belief as Muslims is only two things: Quran and Sunnah, nothing else. Quran and Sunnah. Because many people, they talk about the unseen, the ghaib, without evidence. Because the unseen and the ghaib, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kept it a secret. No one knows about it. No one knows about the unseen or the ghaib, except what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us. What Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, that's it. For example, and our minds, by the way, our minds cannot tell us about the unseen. Our minds can only work and function within this world of material, the material world, the tangible world, the world of physics. That's it. Now we are in this hall, the door is closed. Someone is knocking the door. Can we know who's at the door? Tell me. No way. If our minds are incapable to know who's at the door, can our minds tell us what is behind this world? No way. Is this clear to everyone? So our minds cannot tell us what is beyond this material world. Just as they are incapable to know who's at the door. They will tell you, all of us when we heard the knocks on the door, unanimously agreed, unanimously there's someone at the door, right? Why? Because it's something material. We heard the sound, the waves went through our ears. Our minds interpreted the signal. We know that. But now, brothers and sisters, let us try to imagine who's knocking. What do you think? We'll agree? Are we going to agree who's that person? Or we are going to have different mental pictures? Tell me. This is a workshop.
Yeah,
Different mental pictures. Why? We agreed in the beginning, in the first one, and disagreed in the second. Why? Simply because now we are asking our mind something. He says, sorry, it is beyond my scope. It is beyond my capacity. I cannot tell you. It doesn't fall under my domain. Because this is unseen. All the philosophers, Greek philosophers in particular, because they were obsessed with the discussion of what they call it metaphysical or metaphysics, which means what is beyond this. Who told them there is something beyond it? Who told them that? And why they spend their lifetimes searching? Who told you there is something? It is the fitrah, the intuition, the instinct. There must be a maker of this. There must be. Which is true. Which is very true. There must be a maker. For every make there must be a maker. Nothing comes out of nothing. I'm sure you know the debate that happened between Imam Abu Hanifa and the atheist. They said that Imam Rahimahullah came late to the debate, and he said, why did you come late? He said, I didn't find the ship. And all of a sudden, there was a tree standing on the bank of the river, fell down, chopped, made into boats, and the boats were joined together, and then a ship was made, and the ship was out a captain, and then I came. That's why I got late. And the atheist started laughing at the Imam. He said, are you fool? He said, no. He said, no ship can be made without a maker. So he said, who's the fool then? Who's the fool then? Huh? Who's the fool? You are telling me this whole universe is made without anyone. Let us take another example. You are in the desert. You got lost. And you were searching for water and food, you didn't find any. Then you fell asleep. And then when you got up, you woke, you found a nice table in front of you, mashallah, like open buffet. Huh? All types of food out there, all types of drinks. Maybe, let's say, maybe, because you were hungry, started eating. But then you will ask the question, who brought it? True or not? Listen, he's mad. Who brought this table? You cannot say that this today but no one brought it? There must be someone. Okay? So, the philosophers, they discussed this issue. And all of them, the Greek, I'm talking about the Greek philosophers, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, all those. They agreed there must be a maker, there must be a creator. But their problem, what? They tried to imagine. Had they stopped at that point, fine. But when they crossed the boundary and they tried to imagine Allah, the creator, they made blunders. And if you read the Greek mythology, you start laughing. Then they came up with the idea of God and goddesses and sub-gods and all these things. So our belief, our Aqeedah will be taken only from Quran and Sunnah. That's it. Because we know the unseen belongs to whom? To Allah. So He has to tell us about the unseen. He has to tell us there is Jannah. He has to tell us there is hell. He has to tell us there are angels. And we have to say, we believe in whatever you say. Okay? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, وَلَا تَقْفُ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ. Don't speculate, don't guess. Don't talk nonsense. Don't talk anything that you don't know. إِنَّ السَّمْعَ, verily the hearing, وَالْبَصَرَ, and the sight, كُلُّ أُولَئِكَ كَانَ عَنْهُ مَسْئُولًا. They are to be held accountable. They will be questioned. So don't say anything. That's why the Quran teaches us always, if someone claims something, قُلْ هَاتُوا بُرْهَانَكُمْ إِن كُنتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. Use your evidence if you are telling the truth. So, we take our Aqeedah, we learn our deen, we learn our belief from the Quran and the Sunnah. And the Quran and Sunnah, wahy, revelation. From whom? From Allah Azza wa Jalla. Because this book is the proof. Anyone comes to us and says, what is the proof that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the messenger of Allah? Say, this one. We have it intact. This is the proof. And it contains only the truth. Not only that, there is no book on earth challenges its reader except this book. Have you found a book challenging the reader and ask the reader to go and find mistakes? This book. And the challenge is still there, and all attempts failed miserably. So the Quran and the Sunnah, because there are many ignorant. They call themselves Muslims. They say we only accept the Quran and reject the Sunnah. We say no, you don't accept the Quran because the Quran tells you to accept the Sunnah. So you don't accept the Quran. Because the Quran says, وَمَا أَتَاكُمَ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوهُ وَمَا نَهَاكُمْ عَنْهُ فَانْتَهُوا. Whatever the Prophet gives you, takes it. And whatever he forbids you, abstain from it. So you are not following the Quran. And what was the mission of the Prophet ﷺ? Is to explain this book. To recite it, to teach it, and the explanation of the Quran is the Sunnah. That's it. So we have the Quran, we have the Sunnah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that Prophet Muhammad doesn't speak out of his own desire. وَمَا يَنطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. He doesn't speak out of his own desires. He follows what is being inspired to him. So, this Islamic Aqeedah, or the Islamic belief, has certain characteristics or features. We'll just go through them. Simplicity and clarity. Is the Muslims' belief simple and clear, or vague and confusing and perplexing? Any revert here? Any revert? MashaAllah. Yes. Did you find any difficulty in understanding the message of Islam? Or you found that it confirms with what you have inside? Tell me. What Islam is teaching, did you find it strange to you? Or just in line with your nature, with your feelings? Exactly. Fitrah. There is nothing there in Islam that goes against your inner instinct. Nothing. It goes with logic, it goes with common sense, with your feeling, with your fitrah. And it is very simple. God is one, no problem. But God is three, it's a problem. And you see, God is one. Yes, He has to be one. Because if there is more than God, then that there will be a problem also. Either if they are more than God, whether this one of them is greater than the other, then the other one is not God. Or they are equal, then the 50-50. One is saying die, the other saying no, you should not die. We didn't find that. When He said die, you die, right? So that's ruled out. So God is one. And He says subhanahu wa ta'ala, شهد الله أنه لا إله إلا هو والملائكة وأولو العلم قائما بالقسط شهد الله أنه لا إله إلا Allah testifies that there is no God except Himself. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, brothers and sisters, here is challenging. Say there is no one but myself. If there is another God, why is He keeping quiet? This is a challenge. And the angels also testify. And the people of knowledge also testify. So one of the main characteristics of the Islamic belief is simplicity. Very simple. God is one. And no one will argue about it. Even those who are saying Trinity, they say three in one. They also say one at the end of the day. One. But when we tell them, explain to us three in one, they say, it's a riddle. We cannot solve it. We cannot answer it. And they gave many explanations, and I don't want to elaborate on that. So the main features of the Islamic belief is simplicity and clarity. Second thing, it is an instinctive creed. It is something it suits and confirms what is there inside you. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, brothers and sisters, when we were before, this is now, we exist. This is not the first existence. This is what we know now, the material one in this world. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He created our father Adam, He wiped the loin and the back of Adam, and He took all his children. All the children of Adam, all the human beings. And He addressed them. We don't recall this. No one can recall it. And He addressed them, am I not my Lord? And we testified. We testified, yes, you are our Lord. And that's why every human being knows about Allah. Every human being. And read the literature. Even the literature of the primitive man. Things that tell you about the primitive man. You'll see that he believes in God. There's something ingrained, something planted, something programmed. We are programmed in that. So we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why the Prophet ﷺ said, كل مولود يولد على الفطرة فأبواه يهودانه أو ينصرانه أو يمجسانه. So every child is born upon the fitrah. What is fitrah? Islam. Believing in the oneness of Allah. Then only his family, they might make him a Jew or a Christian or Zoroastrian. If this child is left alone without external influences, he will worship Allah. He will worship Allah. So because this is another feature, or this is another characteristic of the Islamic Aqeedah, Islamic belief. The Islamic belief is well defined. No vagueness. You believe in this and that and that, and you know, believe in Allah, the Malaika, the angels, etc. Also among the characteristics of the Islamic Aqeedah, that it produces, it gives proofs. Adillah. The mushrik said, "O Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you are calling us that you are the Prophet of Allah. What is your proof?" He said, "See?" And he pointed towards the moon, and the moon was split into two halves. He saw, and the people saw that. And the moon indeed, it's a fact. There's a belt of rocks splitting the moon. The moon was split. So the Quran gives evidence. And of course now we cannot replay or reproduce what the miracles of the Prophet ﷺ, the splitting the moon, and the miracles are endless, but we have one which is here. So this is another aspect. Another aspect of the Islamic belief is the neutrality, moderation. It strikes the balance between materialism and monasticism. Because these are two extremes. Either you become sucked in and indulge into this material world, so you sleep and wake up, and what is there, and you are obsessed, and what is preoccupying your mind is the dollar, and the euro, and the rupees. Right? That's what's there in your mind. And you forgot your real aim, and your real mission, and your real objective in this life, and that's to worship Allah. So you became a slave of the dunya, and you are running after the dunya, and the dunya is running away. And you will never catch anything of the dunya except what Allah decreed for you. The Sahaba, they knew this very well, so they didn't run after the dunya came running after them. Running after them. Abdul Rahman ibn Auf, who migrated from Mecca to Medina, he left everything behind. A few days later, he got married. They said, Abdul Rahman ibn Auf, if he says this, if he just picks the earth, the soil, he'll make it gold. He's a very successful businessman. He said to his brother, just show me the market, and that's it. A few days later, the Prophet ﷺ saw him wearing, mashallah, nice garment. He said, Mahiyam, what is this? You got married? He said, yes. He said, did you give mahar? Mahar, sisters, huh? Mahar is your right. And we have to eradicate this bad habit. It's the sin that the women are giving the mahar. It is haram. It's against the Quran, against the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. It's a nightmare for a person who's having girls only. So we go back to the Jahiliyyah, infanticides and killing the girls. And that's the topic. So he said, you gave her mahar? He said, yes. How much? He said, equivalent weight of one seed. said, MashaAllah, then at least you should make a walima for us. At least one sheep. Okay? They left the dunya behind them. It came after them. You know the wealth of Abdurrahman ibn Auf, they were cutting it, lumps of gold, lumps, with axes. With the axes, they were cutting the lumps of gold with axes. So, the dunya was not in the hearts of the Sahaba. Impact on this Aqeedah, the belief, should have tremendous impact on the communal level and individual level. It's this Aqeedah that transformed the Arabs from being criminals, drug addicts, alcoholics, womanizers, all ills, name them. All the different ills the Arabs had. It's this Aqeedah that changed them. Burying their daughters alive for that. So this belief has tremendous impact on the individual and the society as well. So it reforms the individual, and the community or the society consists of what? Members? Individuals, right? So if we manage that the individuals are having outstanding character, we are going to have a community that is going to have an outstanding character. And I stop at this point and open the floor for questions. Sorry for prolonging the introduction, but I think it's needed. Open the floor for questions.
We have 10 minutes for Q&A before the break. So if there's any questions, you don't waste much time. We will have one question on the brother's side and one on the sister's side. We'll have to close in 10 minutes and break and start the next session again. So I request you to immediately start the question. Any doubts on the points discussed here? You can. We don't want any comments. We just want only questions.
That's the question? Right. The question is that, is it whatever the Prophet ﷺ says, whatever he utters, whatever comes from his lips, is a wahi? The answer, no. There are certain times the Prophet ﷺ has his own understanding and ijtihad. And if this ijtihad is wrong, Allah corrects him. Because Allah guides his Prophet. So the Prophet, and this is an argument the rejectors of hadith they raise from time to time, and the Orientalists, that the Prophet ﷺ, when he arrived in Medina, the people of Medina, they were farmers, they were pollinating, you know pollination? They were pollinating the palm trees. So they came to the Prophet ﷺ and said, should we pollinate this year the palm trees? He said, no. So this is what, this answer was not wahi. This was his own understanding, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He teaches him. He teaches his Prophet. So if something happened, He will not leave him in that position. He corrects him immediately. Like for instance, you know, Surah Abasa, when the blind man came and he was busy with the Quraysh, immediately the Quran blamed him for that. And this is another evidence that this Quran is not Muhammad's word, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's the wahy, otherwise no one will talk about himself. So he said, You should not pollinate the palm trees. So they didn't do that. But what happened to the produce? The produce, the fruit, came bad quality. So they came and he said, see, you told us don't pollinate, and see what happened. Then he said, and there is a wisdom behind that. There is a wisdom. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he made his prophet to do that. Like for instance, the Prophet ﷺ, he forgot in the salah, right? Imagine that the Prophet ﷺ never forgot in his salah. And now we forget in our salah. What to do? No mullah will give you, no mawlawi will give you answer. But Allah is teaching the ummah in the person of the Prophet ﷺ. So he forgot in the salah, and then Allah told him what to do. So now when we make a mistake, this is how we should rectify it. So the lesson in that hadith, he told them, we messengers and prophets of Allah were not sent to teach you how to run your mundane life, your worldly life. You are the experts. Antum a'lam bi shu'uni dunyakum. You know how to run your life, your own life, but we give you the guidelines and the framework. So there is a leeway, there is a freedom for you to use your intelligence, to use your intellect within the framework of the Sharia. And there are certain things what we call from the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, Sunnah Aqeedah. That means these are the things that he did because his people do that. For instance, he had long hair. Is having a long hair Sunnah? Yes, you will be rewarded. You will be rewarded if you do this because you love the Prophet ﷺ. But it is not ibadah, prolonging your hair. Because that's how the Arabs were. The Prophet ﷺ, he loves the sweet too much. Is loving the sweet Sunnah? I'm sure many brothers and sisters, they love the Sunnah, but they are diabetic. Huh? You want us to tell them it is Sunnah? Go and eat halwa? They end up in the ICU. Huh? No. The Prophet ﷺ, he used to love the pumpkin. You know the pumpkin? Is eating pumpkin is Sunnah? And if you don't like it, you say you hate the Sunnah? Come on. The Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, which are wahi, 4 times. His sayings, look, we have the hadith, that's what he said. He's asked, he replies. Okay? These sayings is we call the oral traditions that is approved by the wahi. How do I know it is approved by the wahi? It's proven by the wahi and approved of by Allah Azza wa Jal. No comment came down. That is it. No comment. That means what he did is correct. Because Allah would never leave his prophet upon a wrong, upon an error. Are you following me? So since no correction came, it must be from Allah. Allah approved of it. Allah will not keep quiet while his prophet doing something wrong. Is this clear to you? Okay. So the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, which is wahi, it can be either sayings, which is Bukhari, Muslim, Tirmidhi, Nasai, and we have the Isnad, chain of narrators. That's how we check that this hadith is authentic or not. And that is a science by itself. Then we have the actions, the acts of the Prophet ﷺ. He did something, explaining the Quran. For instance, the Prophet ﷺ, he kissed Aisha and he went to the masjid. I'm sure here there are Shafi'i brothers and sisters, right? All al-hadith. Anyway, the question is that why he kissed his wife while having wudu? To teach you that will not nullify your wudu. Because in Madhab Imam Shafi'i, if you just touch your wife like this, you have to go and renew your wudu. Why? This is based on the ayah, أَوْ لَامَسْتُمَ النِّسَاءَ, or you touch the woman. So Imam Shafi'i took it literally, touch, physical touch. But here it is not, it is metaphoric. It is a metaphor. That is it. It is an allegory for the biological fulfillment. Okay? So that is the actions of the Prophet. Then you have a third type of the sunnah, the approvals. That he saw something happening in front of him and he kept quiet. That means that is sunnah. Like what? Eating the lizard, the reptile. The lizard was brought to the Prophet ﷺ, a big lizard, and it was roasted. And the Prophet ﷺ was nearly to touch it, to eat. Then they told him, this is a lizard. So he left it. Khalid ibn al-Walid was present. He said, oh Prophet of Allah, is it haram? He said, no. It's not haram, but I don't like it. So he pulled the tray, Khalid, and he ate it. This is the third time. And the fourth time, which we call it sunnah tarkiyah, the things that the Prophet ﷺ did not do. The things that the Prophet ﷺ did not do in spite of the need, presence, or the dire need, or the existence of the need. Like what? Do you have in this country, among the Muslims, they make adhan in the qabr? Talqeen? Talqeen. Okay. Talqeen, which is cheating. You know cheating? Okay. That someone will go down to the grave and say, oh so and so, don't be frightened, don't be scared, 2 angels are going to come, and he, you know what he says. We tell them, we ask the question. The Prophet ﷺ, he buried many of the Sahaba. Did he do that? No. Did he do that? No. So why do we do it? And we did, where? Produce your evidence if you are telling the truth. That's simple. So that means the Prophet ﷺ, he buried many of the Sahaba, and he did not make the talqeen. So the sunnah that you don't make talqeen, that's it. So what the Prophet ﷺ left is also sunnah. The Prophet ﷺ did not make adhan for the eclipse. You know the eclipse? Lunar or solar. Is there adhan? Eid. Is there adhan for Eid? If one now comes and makes adhan for Eid, what will we consider that? Bid'ah. Why? Because the Prophet ﷺ did not make it. He left the adhan for Eid, for eclipse prayer. Are you following? So whatever the Prophet ﷺ left, also sunnah we should leave. So these are the 4 types of the sunnah. And this is why. Is this clear to you?
You say that Allah's promise is conditional. Let me give you some examples of the Tabligh Jamaat here in India.
Don't mention names. Just
okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They say that you have to be a perfect Muslim before you do dawah, before you go to the message of Islam to others, and you have to be in a Jamaat of good movements, because unless you be in a Jamaat of good Muslims and unless you become a proper movement, Allah's help or Allah's mercy will not descend upon you. I want to know, is it farz on every Muslim to be in the Jamaat of good Muslims, of good movements, or is it okay to be a movement himself? Or is it, do you understand what I'm saying? Is it compulsory to be in a good Jamaat for Allah's help to come about? Islam.
Yeah, the answer yes, it is a must to be in a Jama'ah. And all of us are in a Jama'ah, right? We are in the group of Muslims, right? All of us are in the group of Muslims. So we are in the Jama'ah. That's why the Prophet ﷺ said, Yad Allah ala Jama'ah. Allah is with the group. So alhamdulillah, that's why we are working hard to keep this group, to keep this, maintain the unity between the Muslims. And not to try to make subgroups or subunits to divide. No. We are trying to maintain the unity of the whole bulk. Are you following me? Now, regarding the question about the being true believers or true mu'min and perfect mu'min, no one of us will be perfect. No one. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, كُلُّ ابْنَ آدَمْ خَطَّاءُ خَيْرُ الْخَطَّائِينَ التَّوَّابُ. All human beings, all children of Adam are liable to make mistakes. Who is among us can say, I will not make a mistake? I am infallible, ma'soom. Only Allah gave that to the prophets and messengers. Okay? But now, since we know that all the human beings can make mistakes, And yet Allah commands us to forbid what is right, to command what is right and to forbid what is wrong. Do you think the Shaykh or the teacher is perfect? No. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, alhamdulillah, He covers up our mistakes so no one knows about it. Right? This is the mercy of Allah. Only Allah knows. And we are striving and trying to excel and make ourselves better. But this is the nature of human beings. But this should not stop you from doing the da'wah. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz rahimahullah was asked. Some scholars, they are not, practicing what they are teaching us. They say, take the fruit and leave the thorns. Take the fruit and leave the thorns. Take what he's telling you. For instance, I asked someone, where is the way to go to a certain place? He gave me the right direction, and he went the wrong direction. He's fool, right? But he directed me correctly. He said, thank you. But he had it the opposite. That's his problem. Understand? Because what he told you is right. Now, many fathers, they smoke, right? And smoking is haram, as you know. But he doesn't want his child to smoke. And if he finds his child smoking, he'll smack the child, right? Because he knows it is wrong. So we cannot use the logic because you're not a good example, so I will not leave smoking until he quits smoking. The scholars, they said even alcoholic they should make da'wah. You know this? The alcoholic, they should make da'wah. They said how? They said make da'wah to one another. While they are, in the bar, drinking. So one of them said, brother, is it high time to quit, man? Let us leave it. We are growing old, see? Let us leave it. That is da'wah. So they give da'wah to one another. And not only this, as I say, it is Allah's sitr. Allah covers our mistakes. No one knows, If you are in your community, they know about you. So you cannot say, this is wrong. You say, everyone should speak except you. Because we know you very well. But if you are in another town, no one knows about you. You make yourself Shaikh, right? Because no one knows about your record. Right? That's why in Islam we don't disclose our